Hello and welcome back to Making a Beaded Keychain Part 3. During this video, you will learn how to put your keychain together. Starting off, you want to take your margarine lid and you want to trace your keychain. This took me a couple of times to get a nice solid line. My pens were not working. After getting a solid line, you want to create a smaller circle within the bigger circle. This doesn't have to be perfect. Now to cut out your shape, you want to cut out the smaller circle. You want your lid to fit in the center of your keychain. You want it big enough to cover the threads, but not so large enough that it touches the edges. We are now going to sew the margarine lid to the keychain, making sure that your needle is going from the back to the front to hide the knot. Your stitches on the beaded side should be a lot smaller and between the beads to hide the thread. Your stitches on the margarine side could be a lot wider and it doesn't have to be evenly spaced. After securing the margarine lid, you just want to tie off your thread. Next step is to grab your felt. Doesn't matter which side it is on, they're both the same. You want to put your keychain in the center of your felt. Time to trace your keychain. This time it's a little easier and my pen is working perfectly. Bam! Cut out your circle. Always double checking to make sure your backing fits perfectly. Next we are going to do the loop ring. So you want to grab your black little string there and you want to fold it in half. I'm just examining my keychain and where I want to put my loop. You want to place the two ends towards the inside, so against the margarine lid, the loop to stick out. Again, I apologize, I end up pulling my beadwork towards myself and out of frame. You want to start stitching your loop to your keychain. It's just a simple stitch of back and forth. It's a little difficult with the rhinestones, so take your time. You also want to make sure that you're not overlapping your beads or the rhinestones so your thread shows. You just want to kind of do it in between your rhinestones and in between your beads. If you do notice a knot forming, all you have to do is just pull the thread back out, untangle gently, and pull your thread back through. After stitching my loop, I did turn back around and re-stitch it again. I just want to make sure I secured that loop to the keychain. Once you feel like your loop is going nowhere, you just want to tie off your string. There you have it, you're that much closer to a finished keychain. You just want to put the felt back on. Next, you will stitch your felt to your keychain starting at the loop. I do like to go over it a second time just to make sure the beginning is more secure. The stitch after this point is just a simple back and forth. The stitch now is just a simple back and forth. I do have to remind you guys that the rhinestones are a little tricky, so be patient and don't force your needle through. You could potentially break your needle. Here's the stitching on the back. If you do it correctly, it won't be noticeable. If you like, you can attach the felt to your keychain in this simple stitch all the ways around, and you guys can skip the next step. I do add one more stitch against the loop just to start off the next step. Take note how the loop is secure on both ends. You want to choose a color for the edging. You want to start by picking up 4 beads. We are going to use the rhinestones as sort of a measurement for our edging. If we're starting at one space of the rhinestones, you want to move to the next one. This will create a beautiful little half circle, and you just want to put your needle through that last bead and pulling tight. For the rest of the edging, you just want to pick up 3 beads. You want to put your needle through the next spacing on the rhinestones. Making sure your stitch isn't too close to the edge or too far in. You just want it to be a little happy medium, so almost like on the edging of the rhinestones. And you're just going to repeat the steps. You're going to pick up 3 beads, moving on to the next spacing on your rhinestones, and going through that last bead. Repeat steps, pick up 3 beads, move on to the next spacing on your rhinestones, and going through that last bead. Fast forwarding, I'm almost done my keychain. Now once you reach the end of the loop, you can stop and tie off your thread in the back. But I'm a bit of a perfectionist and I am going to complete my circle. I'm going to be continuing on with my steps of picking up 3, going through the next spacing on my rhinestones, but instead I'm going through my loop again. I'm being careful to go over my previous stitching just so that I don't have extra thread. I am putting my needle in a different spot in the back, but I'm going through the loop again and trying to get to the same spot where I left off in front. And we are going to complete the steps by going back through that last bead. To be honest, this step is unnecessary, but it is an act of love for your project. If you do choose to complete your circle, just be very, very patient. It is a difficult step. This step is to complete your circle by adding 1 bead and going through that first bead there, just to make sure you get that loop. Going through your keychain one last time, and you just want to knot your thread and cut off your string. The very last step is to add your keychain hoop to your loop. Don't forget to clean your workspace. And there you have it, a beautiful beaded keychain. Once again, I would like to thank everyone for staying with us through this series of how to make a beaded keychain. If you have any questions, you can Facebook message us, leave a comment down below, you can text or call. I hope you guys enjoy, and I hope everyone is staying safe.